In this video, we'll look at creating your Google Analytics account. A Google Analytics account can be used for one purpose: to watch data from one website, or it can be used to group data from multiple sites together. Here's what the structure looks like. At the top, you have your account. And here you can apply users and set up configuration settings that apply to everything within your account. Inside your account, you can have one or more properties. A property is just a website or mobile application. Every one of your properties gets a unique tracking ID, and that ID tells Google Analytics to collect and store all data associated with that ID together. Now, it's best practice to create separate accounts for separate businesses, and then you create different properties for every unique website, app, or other digital asset that belongs to the business. Within each property, you can create custom views for your data. Views are just how you access reports. An example of this is within a property, you might have one view for all the data associated with a website and another view that shows all the AdWords data for that website, and then a third view that shows all traffic to a subdomain of that website. The default is you have one unfiltered view that is automatically generated when you create a property. You wouldn't want to apply any settings or configurations to this view since it's really just a backup of all your data. A word of caution: once you delete a view, it's gone forever, so think very carefully before you ever do so. But having the default intact just in case can be very handy. We'll discuss views a bit later on, but for now, it's good to have one master view and a test view. The test view allows you to make configuration tests to see how things change over time. And because you have the test view, you can really see what happens before you commit to any changes to your master view. When you create a new view, Google Analytics does not automatically copy any of the historical data over to your new view. So you'll only have whatever data gets collected from the date you created the new view. Okay, so next, let's log into an already set up Google Analytics account to show you what it looks like. We'll go through setting it up in just a minute, but I want to first show you what things look like once you got all your data and accounts in here. So to get there, in Google, you can just search for Google Analytics, and then click on the link. And this brings you to the sign-in screen. I'm just entering in my credentials and heading over to the home screen. On the home screen is a table view. We can see all of the accounts I have associated with my Google Analytics platform, and I only have one. And this is one I created for an engineering firm that I help market for. Now, underneath the account view, we have a folder labeled Suproc Technologies, and next to it is a tracking ID number. This folder is the property. And beneath the property, you can see that we have one view created. And this is the all website data view. We'll be setting up some more later on. To the right of the view, we can see some data snippets. It shows us how many sessions, the average session duration, the bounce rate, and conversion rate. So again, within this account called Suproc Technologies, we have a property also called Suproc Technologies, which happens to be the website. And within the property, we have one view setup, all website data. Got it? Now that you're familiar with views, properties, and accounts, let's go through setting up a new account. Let's go back to google.com/analytics. I should let you know that Google changes its landing pages and sign-up forms from time to time, so don't be surprised if things look a bit different when you get into them. But Google does a pretty good job giving you instructions and letting you know what to do next and where to go, so setting up an account should be fairly easy. As we go through the setup process, I can't go through every single configuration possible. We'll review the most common features that you'll want to start out with, but you can also customize analytics to what works best for your business. So let's start by choosing Sign In the top right-hand side of the page. This will bring you to an overview page that goes over the next few steps of the process. The steps will be: number one, sign up for Google Analytics, and we'll need to give them some information about us and the site that we want to monitor. And then Google will produce a tracking code that we'll paste into the pages of our website so Google knows when our site has been visited. Then third is, in a few hours, Google will start to get us some data with which we can use to garner information about our site. So let's continue on through the process. We'll click the Sign Up button on the right-hand side. Now, I created a Google account for this tutorial already called Marketing Monkey 8. I know, goofy, right? But it's what I could think of off the top of my head. I would highly recommend creating a new Google account for whatever business you are using analytics for. You could just use your business name at google.com. And in preparation for setting up analytics, just go to google.com and choose Create Account. You'll need to fill out this form, but once you do, when you go back to Google Analytics, Google will know which account that you're referencing. And after you fill everything out, you'll need to verify your account via email or text message. Okay, so now I'm signed into Google and I'm back in Analytics. In the New Account section, we need to fill out some information. But first, we need to tell Google what type of asset we'll be tracking. Is it a website or a mobile app? I'm going to assume that most of you would like to track a website to start out with, so let's choose that. Below the website option, Google is going to tell us the type of tracking method that will be used, and the method is called Universal Analytics. And Google will be generating a tracking ID for us as well as a corresponding tracking code. Then we need to fill out the account name. This is typically the business name. Remember, our account is going to contain properties, which we'll set up next. So we add the property name, which is the website name, and then the URL for the website. I'll just enter in www.marketingmonkey8.com. Now, on the left-hand side, there is a drop-down that allows you to choose between HTTP and HTTPS. You'll want to confirm which version your website is using. If you're using HTTPS and all your pages are loading HTTPS for your users, you'll need to select this version. And the same thing goes with HTTP. Some sites switch between the two, and that's okay. If that's the case, just start with HTTP. Not to get too technical, but the difference between HTTP and HTTPS is HTTPS is the secure version of HTTP. And both are the way in which web servers communicate with web browsers. HTTP lets visitors view a site and send information back to a web server. And HTTPS is just HTTP through a secure connection. Then we need to choose the industry our business is in, and then the country and the time zone. Pay close attention to the country and time zone. Once you set it up here, you can't change it. And this will affect your reporting, so make sure that you've got it right. And then choosing the industry type will help Google provide some benchmarking for us. And benchmarking is a good thing because what it does is allows us to look at how our site is performing against others in the same category. We won't be able to see actual sites, but it will give us some baseline information. So choose a category that closely matches what your business is doing. And then below this, Google's going to give us some options to check or uncheck. And this is all about sharing information with Google and allowing Google to share information with you. And you can feel free to choose to keep checked whatever you like. And then when you're done, click Get Tracking ID, which is the big blue button at the bottom. And then Google will pop up a service agreement, which you just have to read through and click Accept if you decide to. And then just like that, we've set up our first Google Analytics account. It's pretty easy. And in the next video, we'll discuss setting up the tracking tag.